Alright guys, so as promised, gonna make this video here. So I just want to kind of point out a few things that I've noticed lately, especially with this AMC stock split announcement and the way that the media is covering AMC now versus GME 2 weeks ago. Now, in my opinion, the way that the media portray AMC now, look at the title, a step in the right direction, right? That's a red flag to me, right? They are turning positive about AMC when they used to be bashing it. It's a meme stock, it's this and that, and this and that, right? Now, why do I think that they are flipping? I think they have the upper hand here. That's why they are promoting it as if it's a good thing, right? And as I explained in the previous video, hedge funds probably will have the upper hand over retail in AMC, I think. This is just my opinion again. I might be biased here. But let's listen to this small segment here.
This is kind of a step in the right direction for fundamental analysts, just because this will help reduce some of the debt, reduce some of the deferred rent. Adam Aaron, he's probably one of the people working harder than anybody this holiday season. I don't think he takes many days off, and they found a nice partner here. They found a cross capital structure investor that owns some of the debt. They were willing to invest in the apes at a price already, well below where it's currently trading. And then those proceeds will, help reduce some of the debt, help reduce some of the deferred rent. They're not out of the woods at this point, but this is certainly a step in the right direction. And as you know, I'm sure there's, more announcements to come in the near term. There's some additional votes that could kind of help them free up some additional liquidity. But it was, a positive surprise for fundamental investors.
Chad, usually, or my old rule of thumb is anytime you see a 1 for 10 stock split or something like that, that is often the sign of a very distressed company. Do you view AMC as distressed, and do you anticipate some form of major restructuring next year?
Yeah, when we caught up with the company, the way that they framed it was, 5 years ago, they had roughly about 150 million shares outstanding. After all of these announcements here, they're close to 1.5 billion. So from a share count perspective, this will kind of put them back where they were, pre all of these acquisitions, pre the meme rally. So it's kind of getting back to that point. In terms of what it does, to your point, I don't really think, outside of a perception standpoint, it really matters that much unless they're able to, get additional approvals and raise equity at elevated levels. Maybe to your point, there's a little bit of a rally on the back of some meme investors not really understanding a 1 for 10 reverse stock split.
Are we even having this discussion next year about AMC being or just encountering a lot of challenges if the movie slate comes back and people go back to the movies and the movies are compelling and they're willing to spend more each time they visit?
I think the main issue is the number of releases. In 2022, we were back to about 65% of the quantity of releases that we saw pre-pandemic. Obviously, some big, releases like Black Panther, like Avatar this past week, and like Top Gun earlier in the summer. But we still need a lot of the filler product. We're just not seeing that. 2023, what we're expecting is we'll kind of get back to about 80% of quantity, and then it's going to come down to quantity. I think some of the streamers have backed off a little bit. They're going to continue to try to add subscribers on their D2C products. But we just need more product out there. Frankly, these fourth quarter results, I think, are coming in a little bit below where most people had thought. Avatar launched fine. It's going to have legs, but what we saw in October and November, we're certainly a step back from what we saw earlier in the summer. I think the family product has been certainly below what we have seen in prior years. You have some releases like Babylon, like Whitney Houston's movie. Avatar is going to take up most of the screens. But if that's just not something that you want to do, sitting through a movie 3 hours and 10 minutes, and that's really the big knock against this movie. that it is a very long production. I don't think we have the wide array of products this holiday season, as you mentioned, and we'll start to see some of that in February and March. But certainly from a family-friendly standpoint, we're just not seeing the releases that we saw in 2018, 19, and even in 2020.
Well, Julie, I think AMC is airing the first 3 episodes of our show, all 6 hours from earlier this year. I'm really excited about it. I suggest you go and see that. Maybe you too.
I lived it.
All right, guys, as you could see here now, this gentleman here, look how gleeful he is right now. And that's suspicious to me, because especially when I'll show you about the coverage of GME later on, he was just so angry. But, and I think these reporters usually are, they have a talking point, right? It's almost like they are given a go to talk positive about AMC right now. And look how, happy they are talking about this, And the segment is just like so positive. And that's, to me, is very skeptical, right? I don't know. Well, let me show you what this guy's like when he covered GME.
It's a comedy of errors over at GameStop. Matt Furlong, CEO, another 8-minute conference call. 1 minute of that entire 8-minute conference call was them reading the safe harbor disclosure. Matt Furlong only spoke for about 7 minutes. And, I have a story right now on the Yahoo Finance homepage that's really getting me dragged on Twitter. I really don't care, because the bottom line analysis here on GameStop, this is a company that has now, I think, broken a lot of promises to investors. You have sales down in pretty much all divisions. You have margins under pressure. And now you have a clear shift in tone by Furlong in his 7-minute conference call saying we are now cutting expenses. This was a company that was supposed to be investing for future growth in new areas. That it goes completely against what him and Ryan Cohen have been pitching to investors over the past year. A big change in tone, and I think a big red flag on this company.
I mean, it's very confusing why the stock would be up, but I guess that's nothing new, right?
It was down. It was down about 4.5 yesterday.
So I thought I saw a green on the screen. What was I looking at?
Well, it looked like pre-market. It is, in fact, up. So maybe the market likes.
Oh, but now it's down.
But maybe the market likes that they are cutting expenses. But even still, this company hemorrhaging cash. They're now in cash conservation mode. They're out there cutting expenses. I think trying to finally make a quarter for investors. And it's not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah, definitely not a good.
On the call, they said that it's worth reiterating our goal is to achieve profitability in the near term. How? They're already looking at some of the inventory that they have. They also discussed that on the call to say how much of that they need to actually continue to work through. They said that they've strengthened their inventory position by divesting a small percentage of merchandise that was acquired. So anytime you hear a company divesting of its inventory, also trying to get back to profitability in the near term, by the way, with the backdrop of more entanglements or tie-ups in the M&A landscape that's taking place, and Microsoft and Activision Blizzard are eventually able to consummate that particular deal, that could be the nail in the coffin for a company in GameStop in terms of the retail environment versus how people are downloading games right now and just leveraging the cloud for that experience.
Yeah, and I just mentioned some of the Twitter reaction to my story. I think one person just tweeted me who's watching this, cash flow positive, baby, eat it. Well, eat this. They generated $177 million in operating cash flow in the most recent quarter. Last year, they bled or lost $293 million. It doesn't matter. This is a company whose cash position is down year over year. This is a company still losing large sums of money in the quarter and year to date. This is a company really with no strategic vision to keep cash flow coming into its business over the next 5 years. So I get that they're passionate. I understand the GameStop faithful, but again, this was another terrible quarter by this company and another embarrassing earnings call.
So, as you could see, as it was pointed out earlier, look how happy this guy is when he was covering AMC versus when he was covering GME. There is a distinct, anger, that they have, that he has towards GME. This is just how I feel. The segment was very aggressive in saying that GME is a worst investment. Now, this is what they think, right? first investment than AMC, right? Now, I just so happen to disagree because to me, GME has a better fundamental. And let me show you their balance sheets right here, right? So, okay, so the news was breaking down how, and this is what they're focusing on, right? Revenue's down, right? Which is true. They're down by, say, $100 million, right? Revenue down by $100 million. This is about revenue down, okay? And revenue down, all in all, they lost about that much, right? So they lost about that much. So technically, if they were able to maintain the revenue, they would have been breaking even, right? But here's the thing. The thing that I'm excited about, that he is not excited about, is the fact that the cash flow positive side of it, right? Let's see. Where did it go? Liability. Oh, divestment. This is one of the minuses that they were pointing out, but this is not a minus. This is just diversification of investment. It's just smart, you know. I'm sure they probably do bond, you know, treasury bond, just to get yield out of this crazy market that we have. So technically, that's a smart investment, you know. I don't think they are buying companies just yet, but they were talking about acquisition, right? Acquiring company in the near future. I think that's smart. If you are trying to be nimble, cutting down expenses more and more, and you're able to do that for whatever reason, I think that's a good thing. How is it a bad thing that you're cutting down expenses and not investing in the future growth of the company? And that's one of the things that he was saying, that, oh, it's a broken promises. Like, this company is broken the promises. Wait a minute. What promise? They did invest in the future growth of the company with the NFT marketplace, right? And people were like shitting on this a platform for some reason, you know. I could do a video on it, on how I think this is a huge potential right here. Now, that's still a question mark, right? But that's the speculation play. Like, this is highly speculating, right? Because the future of NFT is bright. It might still be very, very early at this moment in time because people don't understand what NFT is yet, because they think that it's just a JPEG, right? It's, you know, why would you want a JPEG on it? For the most part, they can be right on that one. But I think there's a better use case that we are not yet to think about, right? And I could think about a whole bunch. I could, again, I'll just, put an asterisk on that one, and I'll make a video on it later on. But as far as a broken promise, no, they have not. They built a NFT marketplace already. It's ready. It's in beta mode, right? So yes, it's slower than we expected to be. We thought it was gonna take off like crazy, which is fine. Look at the crypto market. That's a reason. So until the crypto market is being ironed out, which I think it will, because that's the next industry that people are going to be going crazy about, just like the internet in the 80s or 90s or even the 2000s, right? So perhaps today crypto market is like the dot-com bubble, right? It's burst already, the 2000. So every crypto that went boom, a year ago, have been bust now. So let the best crypto win. So we might be able to find the Amazon of crypto somehow. Hopefully it would be NFT marketplace, right? That's what we're hoping for, but we don't know. Okay, all right, let me get off of that. So that's as far as investing in the future of the company. So they did not break that promise at all. So he lied. He lied, or he's trying to he's mistakenly thinking that the company is broken that promise. Okay. Now, cutting expenses, that's a good thing. How is cutting expenses not a good thing? Like, it baffled me that this guy is spinning it as a bad thing. Cutting expenses in this environment, meaning this market, we are about to go into a recession, right? That's what the news is saying. So it makes no sense to focus on growth when everything is going down, right? So to me, cutting expenses is the most important thing at this point in time. And I think they are doing a great job at being a steward of that $1 billion cash that they have in hand. And on top of that, they use some of it to invest in a marketable security, right? So that means it could be increase in value, or decrease in values, but it's only a quarter of their cash, right? So let's assuming that they're burning $100 million every quarter. Technically, they have, well, if this investment, this security investment, going bust, they would still have 8 quarters left. That's 2 years, right? How long does this recession last, you think? Right? I mean, it could be 2 years, right? That's assuming that they're burning cash. Now, as far as next quarter being profitable, so this guy right here was pointing out that, they're saying in the earnings call that they are focusing on profitability. And he was like, how? How are you going to be profitable? Look at how, terrible you've been doing lately. It's like, okay, well, Christmas sale. That's how. And look, even here, if you look at the, let's see, inventory, right? They have $1 billion of inventory to sell, right? Now, traditionally, fourth quarter of GME is the best quarter of all year round. It's seasonal. So last year they made like 2 point something billion in revenue, right? If they're able to achieve that and keep expenses lower than it used to be, right? That is the profit right there. You make more money than you spend. Okay? Which one did I want to point out? Cash flow positive right here. Right here. Okay? Cash flow positive is a good thing. I don't know how this person right here spinning it as if it's a bad thing. It's like, come on. It's like, okay, you see how much they're able to cut the expenses down from losing $300 million. Let's just say from losing $300 million, right? Losing to making to positive, okay? That's almost $500 million right there, right? Because you're not losing 300 million anymore, but you're able to gain that. So that's the difference of almost $500 million, right? 470, say 70 million dollars difference right there. How is that a bad thing? Okay, well, let me This is a mess. This is a mess. Okay, let me go back up here. Let's string this down a little bit. Let's go over here. Right there, right? So, yeah. So they were able to actually increase their cash flow by this much year over year. Okay? So that's why this, from this to this, from sorry, from negative to positive, that's the difference right there. Okay? So they're able to cut down $500 million, almost $500 million of expenses. How is that a bad thing during a recession? You know. Now, to me, they are in a better position than AMC, right? Okay, collectible. Yes. So the collectible was able to be increased. And to me, I think that's a good marketing. Like, you know, you have shareholder base that love this company. Of course, collectible is going to be, you know, moving forward. Obviously, the more love for the stock they have, you know, the more fan there is. Yes, this is the meme stock movement is a great marketing for them. Yes, and that's a plus for the company, by the way, because that's free publicity right there. Just by them mentioning meme stock, that's great marketing already. And we all know that, you know, anytime the news say anything bad or good about a GME, it's a plus. Publicity is a good thing, right? Now, I hope that people will analyze the news segment a little bit better, you know, and kind of see through what the news is trying to say about a certain company, whether it's good or bad. I wish that people, you know, learned to analyze it themselves. I'm not an expert by any means, you know. I'm not saying that everything that I say is correct, but I know math pretty well. If it's up a certain percentage, I know. Now, balance sheets is a little bit complicated to me because, you know, you have a lot of moving parts, you know, like all of this stuff, a lot of component to add up to that particular one. But you learn about it, you know. And for me, a sale decrease of $100 million is so much less important, right? A sale decrease of $100 million is so much less important than close to $500 million expenses cut, right? Reduced expenses. Okay, so cash on hand is important, right? So technically, in liquid term, they have $1 billion in cash that they could have access to right away. Liquid, right? That's a good thing. As I said before, if they continue to burn $100 million every quarter from now on, they would still have 10 quarters left, you know, without diluting shareholders. Right? That's why I disagree with this guy. You know, I disagree with the news is trying to say that GME is in a worse spot than AMC. And yeah, it's kind of fishy in that sense, which is fine. Look, if they want to keep the price low, that's fine. It's called pooping and scooping. Okay, they are pooping and scooping GME right now. Best believe it. Okay, because they know that this company is on its way to become the number one in 5 to 10 years from now. And they know that if retail keep accumulating, then GME is about to make a lot of people rich here. But you have to look at it in the long term, right? And that's not counting the short position, how many people are shorting this company, right? To oblivion. We don't know that. We don't know how many shares out there. Of course, like people who've been following this, like me, kind of have an idea of how many. It could be, 2 to 3 times the float of the actual company, right? So I don't know. Again, I'm just a nobody, right? I don't have any credential. Yeah. But, yeah, I think that's the most important thing that I want to point out. It's the fact that they are trying to say that GME is worse off than AMC. That's a red flag to me. And, AMC might run a little bit and then they're gonna dump it on you to try to distract you away from GME. And I'm sure they are setting this up. You know why? Oh my God, I just thought of this. I am sure they are setting AMC up to run alongside when GME is profitable, like reporting profitable the next quarter. Right? Oh my God, it's such a manipulation, right? So for people who are in AMC, I'm sure they will rocket it up higher than GME to make the illusion that AMC is doing better than GME. In the meantime, the hedge fund already bought all the bonds, all of the, the portion of this company already, and that's how they are that is how they're gonna be able to pay for the squeeze for GME. I think that's what happened, and I'm seeing it playing out right now at this moment. I mean, that's their strategy is to trick people to not paying any attention to GME. And I wish people wake up a lot quicker, because, for people who fall into AMC, it's not like I feel sorry for them. Of course, when you do investment, somebody has to lose and somebody has to win, right? But I thought the original plan was to end the corruption, and I wish AMC runs to higher than people are buying it into it, but I hope that people could get out on time and not getting stuck in this company for long, right? Because I think for AMC to achieve profitability, I don't know how many years, it's gonna be a lot longer than GME, because GME, like they were saying that, it's impossible, can achieve it next quarter. Can. I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a feeling that they will report positive earning for next quarter. And this is why they are preparing to make AMC a lot more appealing for quote unquote retail, right, who bought into AMC. And to make it appear like GME is not going anywhere while AMC is about to move. And then they will rug pull on you again, dropping it down. Meanwhile, they will drop down the price of GME as well, even though they're positive earning. You know, so. Alright, so I'll end it here. My dog is doing weird things right now. Alright guys, so I'll end it here. And thank you for watching. I will continue to do more video of this one, of this sort. And I don't know, I just want to document some of this journey that I have, thought process that I have during this time. You know, I watched this movement from the sideline for a long time. And to be honest, I've been wanting to make videos. I just feel like there's a lot of amazing people already making videos. I don't want to bombard people even more. But more and more though, I find myself to have different opinion on a certain things. So, okay, all right, bye.